project that we're going to work on next is building a crate. We've got to ship some fire safety equipment to Germany, or I could say the client's going to collect the material and it's going to end up going to Germany. So not very exotic or interesting necessarily to build a crate, but a CNC machine is extremely capable of doing that kind of work, and frankly, doing it better than what you could otherwise really accomplish easily, in the sense that because we have a CNC, we can better protect the material on the inside. So let's just explore a random stream of consciousness in terms of how we'll go about building this crate for this shipment. So let's move on.
Okay, so what we have here is a box, another box, 3-gallon pail of some fire suppression material. That's liquid, so yeah, ideally we're going to do a little bit better job at just making sure that doesn't move around. And we've got a CO2 cartridge for obviously activating the client system. So what we'll end up doing is probably putting this material laid out in such a way that we can get a better idea of what we're going to actually do. So let's take a minute and do that. We have some equipment used for fire suppression. We've got an agent cylinder here. Maybe we'll just place these two items together in that sort of fashion. Bring this maybe up here. So it's going to end up looking something like this. We're just going to build something along this overall size. We'll get that measured and we will design some pieces. Let's move on.
Okay, so I have a lot of scrap OSB laying around, so that's just what we're going to use for doing this. And I've done this in the past, and I'm just going to continue on with this. Let me show you what I mean. Let's create a new file, and our workpiece size is going to be 46 in the X, 26 in the length, and our material thickness is 0.4375, because that's the thickness of the OSB. We will zero to the material surface. XY datum, lower left, that's fine. And then OK. All right, now we're obviously going to need a perimeter cut at some point. So I'm going to bring in some guidelines. Relative create. So that sticks one over here. Let's throw one down here. Let's add a new one. Relative to guide at 26. All right, so a perimeter cut. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a bunch of donuts. I'm going to cut a bunch of donuts. And I'm going to slide these donuts down over the workpiece. Let's draw this as we go along. We're going to need a rectangle. So let's grab a rectangle. Let's zero it here. 46, 26. Create. Okay, now I'm going to move our rectangle. We've got that selected. Let's move to new layer, perimeter cut. All right, so we've got that. Let's copy it. On layer 1, it's there. So let me rename this. We'll just call it master layout. All right, so I'm going to build everything on the master layout, then we'll copy it to its individual layer. So the next thing I'm going to do is place my elements on here in terms of how I'm going to want to cut them out for the work. So I'm going to go over and take some measurements on what we're doing, and I'll show you what I'm kind of thinking.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
Okay, as I walk over to the parts, so what we're going to end up doing is just creating donuts for all of this stuff. I'm going to cut around it. So what that means is I'm going to end up cutting this material so that these donuts will then just slide down and over this. So I need to take some dimensions of my parts. We said it was 26 wide. That means we're going to have a 2-inch perimeter all the way around. And I'll allow a 1/4 inch, I suppose, for this to fit. So we're going to make this, first box is 27.5. So what I'm going for here, 2-inch, 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 2-inch. So we'll come over 27.5. We're going to cut that all the way up. This is 46, so this is going to end up being 42. 27.5. We're going to come back. So we're going to make that 9.5 inch. We'll make adjustments as we go along. 2 1/4, and then we're going to go straight back. The balance, whatever that's going to be. Okay, and this is going to be our interior cutout of where these two boxes are going to sit inside of, is the point of all of that. Then we're going to need a circle on our paperwork. 10.5 inch diameter. That dimension is going to be 3 inch. And then we'll just center it 26, so that's going to be at 13 inch center line. Because we've got some extra material here, we're going to have to make a version of these donuts that get up a little bit higher. And maybe what we can do is pull that handle off of here, that wire handle, just for the sake of it not messing with our design. Okay, handle is out. Okay, so we'll send the handle with it. Okay, I can't think of anything else that we need on our design, except that we're going to have to end up changing this. So let's just measure that now, because we'll have to have a second diameter. That lid is going to end up being a 13 inch diameter lid by the time we get about 8 inch up. 13 inch diameter lid, just so that we have that written there. And then we've got to go about 15 inches overall height. So we're going to cut a lot of these pieces of material. I think what really would be nice, though, is to have these pieces truly separated. So let's make 2 separate pockets here and leave a strip of wood. So this is going to change a little bit, obviously. So 12.5, 9.5, not very much to scale. And then the length, 27.5 plus the 2 1/4, 29 3/4. Oh yeah. It'll work out just fine. So let's draw this, and then let's make one, and we'll see if all the components fit in here. Yeah, and maybe we'll come up with some other neat ideas as we go along as well.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
I took a little bit of time to get the machine set up, dust collector arranged, a little bit of sweeping, got a piece of material loaded and zeroed. And let's get back to VCarve. And I'm going to start with the donuts, and I have to obviously cut the base, a couple of things there, cut a lid. Let's draw in our elements. Here's our sketch of what we're going to be emulating. I'm going to take this, throw that up on a different screen so I can look at it as I'm drawing. All right, so I'm on the master layout layer, and I'm going to add some guidelines here in no particular order. I'm going to throw a guideline down at 44, 2 inches off the end. I'm going to add another guideline to give me basically the rectangle I'm creating. 27.5, 29 3/4. Minus 29.75. Create new guide. Good. Close. Now I'll bring a guideline at 2 inch, another one at 9.5. I want to bring one down here, 2 inch down. I'm going to bring another one at 12.5, negative. I think I'm overlapping. I want to do this one, 1/4 inch positive. Close. Okay, we're at 24.25. I want to create one. It's going to be negative. Very good. Let's close. All right, so now I've got my guidelines for my 2 rectangles, except I'm going to need, and I'll show this to you in a moment, relative 2.25. Repeat. It. Close. Now, I'm going to bring my guidelines for my circle cut. So I want to bring one down to 13, which is right in the middle. And then I want to have it 3 inch over from here, relative -3, 3/8, close. And then I want another one at 5 1/4 to the center line, -5.25, 3/8, good, close. I can get rid of this one. Now let's draw our circle since we're thinking about circles. And we're going to give this a diameter of 10.5 is what I said. Apply. Definitely don't love that. Let's get rid of it. It's too far over is what I'm driving at. Let's move this over 1.5 inches. New position 7.5. Apply. Close. That's 6 3/4 there. That's 7.5 from there. 5 1/4. Yeah. 5 1/4. 5 1/4. 2 1/4. Okay, so we're going to move this over 1/4 inch. New position 7.25. Apply. Close. Okay, now let's draw our circle. 10.5 inches our diameter. Apply, close. Okay, I like that vector. That looks nice. Now let's draw a rectangle for our larger of our two boxes. Then our next rectangle will be for our smaller of two boxes. Those should be our cutouts.
If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video.
That cartridge, we probably want to leave a small amount. Let's stick it right in here. About 4 1/4 by 1.25 inches. So let's measure this distance. Roughly it's 9.5. So let's create a guideline at 4 3/4. Got it. Let's create a guideline in the center here. Relative 3.5. Close. Okay, now I'm going to draw a rectangle. This point is 10 3/4 and 4 3/4. Okay, so we're going to put the center line at 10 3/4 and 4 3/4. And we're going to make this 4 1/4 long, and we're going to make it 1.25 inches tall and create. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Close. Beautiful. Okay, so I've got a little area there for this. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is every donut's not going to be cut like this. We're only going to cut these donuts as we ascend. So as we get taller, as I'm looking at my load, this is very shallow, the piece that's here. It's the shortest piece, then to here, then to here. So we're going to cut these donuts of all these cutouts just to this height, and it'll be quite the mystery to these folks where to find everything. It'll be fun. All right, so I said we're going to think about this. What else can we do on this to make this possibly more efficient? I'm going to be left with some doodads here, some cutouts in the middle. What I'm trying to say is, if I knew I was going to throw all these cores out, I would be cutting these so that they were small enough to easily go in the trash. But I'm going to save these for some other future project. So right now, we're going to create these tool paths, and all we're going to do is just do profile cuts to the inside of all these lines. Maybe we're going to end up making that a little bit bigger. First thing I'm going to do is material setup. I just want to look at that one more time. Give it an MDF appearance. All right, so let's bring in our tool paths. I'm just going to select all these vectors. So toolpath, I'll pin that and select all of this. Yeah. So profile cut. 0, our cut depth, I want it to be 10 thousandths bigger, 5375. We'll just see how that goes. Now the bit I'm using is going to be a Onsrud 60-173 MC. That is, well, let's just take a look at it. The reason I'm using this bit is because I have like 100 of them. And when I say 100, I mean I have 70. And the reason I have 70 is because there's someone on eBay who's selling these, and I kid you not, for about $17 each. $17 each. So I'm buying them. It's a lifetime supply. But I've donated some of them to Chris Burns, does work at an underprivileged high school outside of Raleigh-Durham, if I recall correctly. So this is a solid carbide 2-flute compression marathon coated. It's a 1/2 inch compression, so I'll get a decent cut on the top and the bottom, 1/2 inch shank, and I've got 70 of them. So that's why I'm using that bit. Okay, so select. Now I'm pretty sure, I'm quite positive I have this in my tool database, but I've not used it in so long I don't recall. Yeah, compression end mill. Yeah, this is the bit. This is definitely the bit. I have all of my settings here. The only thing I've got to change is I know it's tool number 5. Wow, 7 inches per second. We better take a closer look at this bad boy. Let's pull up the tool data for the 6173 downloads. Laminated chipboard. Yeah, I would say that laminated chipboard would be OSB for us. 1/2 inch. 021 to 023 is our chip load. Yeah, I'm not off. Higher end of the chip range and leave it at 7 seconds per 7 inches per second. We'll try it. Select tool 5. We've got our settings. We're going to see what it looks like. Close, 1 pass. We'll just play with that for right now. Conventional cut inside to the left. Yes, that's what I want on all of these. We'll ramp in, smooth, 4-inch, master. We're going to cut this just to see what it looks like. Actually, I zeroed without my vacuum on, so we'll see how that turns out. I might have to re-zero. I want to try 1 pass just for the sake of seeing what happens. This we're going to want to pocket because there's not much there. Oh, no, it's all going to be gone. Yeah, we're going to obliterate all of that. Okay, so yeah, let's be realistic and make 2 passes on this. 1/2 inch depth for 7/16 OSB, a 16th and 065 inside. I've got a ramp. I've got a safe C, home position, calculate. Yeah, we know we're going to go through. Yeah. Let's see what happens there. That's going to be a 1/4 inch wide is what that's going to be. If that becomes a problem, we'll do something about it. So let's close. Let's save. Bit number 5. I like that. Okay, let's haircut this. Okay, let's pick it up on the GoPro now. Okay, so on our master layout, we have our perimeter cut, we have our pockets. So I'm going to cut 1 piece. I'm going to make sure it works. And then we're going to go from there, is what we're going to do. So let's just grab the perimeter cut vector. That's going to be a profile cut. Same settings. This time it's going to be to the outside. Shall do the ramping. And I want to get this piece off of the table and then go test it and make adjustments. So everything is good. We're doing an outside cut. Let's calculate that. Yep. All right. So I'm going to skip the profile cutting, air cut. Save visible. Yeah, okay. Save tool path. All right, so we're just going to go and cut one of these. Let's do a preview cut first, just for the sake of doing a preview cut. See what it looks like. And then we'll make any adjustments. I don't imagine it's going to work just perfectly right from the get-go. And then we're going to do something neat to save us a little bit of time.
Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.